Hang around derivative circles long enough and you're bound to hear tell of a fellow named Thales of Miletus. Why? Well, if you've ever wondered where the underpinning concepts behind options trading originated, it was not Wall Street. It was, as the story goes, a pre-Socratic philosopher some 2,500 years ago. So imagine this thinker, Thales. He's sometimes credited as the father of Western philosophy and was also a mathematician and astronomer. But for all of his love of thinking about the cosmos and making sense of the world around him, Miletus was located on the western coast of Anatolia, he wasn't really rolling in funds, which I guess would have been denominated in drachmas. So Thales had his critics, people trolling him for choosing the less than lucrative life of a philosopher. But since Thales studied astronomy and also weather patterns and had this mathy mind, he developed a theory that the coming olive harvest would produce a bumper crop. And know that if there is a big crop, there will be big demand for olive presses to turn that crop into oil. So there he is, sitting in a toga, trying to figure out and express his viewpoint on the upcoming olive season. So what does Thales do? Instead of buying a bunch of olive presses outright, which he did not have the money for anyway, he struck a deal with locals in the olive industry. He paid a small upfront fee for the right, but not the obligation, to use those presses later for a fixed sum. Is this sounding familiar? We have an underlying, olive presses or the use thereof, the premium paid, the upfront fee, an expiration period, harvest time, and a strike price, the agreed upon fixed sum for the rental. Kind of sort of looking like a European exercise, physically settled option. Now, as Mother Nature would have it, harvest season arrived, and sure enough, olives everywhere, and therefore demand for those regional olive presses skyrocketed. Thales exercised his rights, secured the presses at the now bargain rate that he'd locked in, and then in turn rented them out. His profit? Huge. Thales didn't just think outside the box, he rented it, then sublet it. Is this an apocryphal tale? Impossible to say through the fog of history. But regardless, it's an insightful story that just goes to demonstrate how life can be better with options and that your investments could be too. As always, our required housekeeping items. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guest of this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of Cboe Global Markets and are for informational purposes only. They should not be construed as financial advice. There are significant risks associated with transacting in all of the financial instruments described herein. It is very important for market participants to understand their own risk tolerances. To review all relevant disclosures and disclaimers, please visit us at www.cboe.com/global-disclaimers. Again, www.cboe.com/global-disclaimers.